Welcome to America Current Affairs, where we break down the biggest stories happening right now. And oh man, have we got a story for you today. Seriously, this one is wild. We're talking about a Nobel Prize, a secret military raid, and a political shocker that nobody saw coming. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's dive right in.
Okay, just look at this picture. This is the moment that it sent shockwaves around the globe. You have María Corina Machado, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, a total hero and symbol of hope for Venezuela, right there in the White House. And what's she doing? She's handing her gold medal, her Nobel Prize, to President Donald Trump. Now, you gotta understand, this wasn't just some nice gesture. No, this was an act of pure desperation.
So, the big question is, why? Why on earth would a hero do something like that? Give up her most prized possession? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go back. Just 2 weeks ago, in fact, to a dramatic night in Venezuela and a lightning-fast raid that literally changed everything. So let's talk about the raid on Venezuela. We're going to look at how a dictator was captured in this incredibly fast U.S. military operation. All right, so this whole thing didn't just happen overnight. It was a massive buildup. It actually started back in August of 2025 with U.S. military forces gathering in the Caribbean. Then, by December, the U.S. starts seizing Venezuelan oil tankers out at sea. Things are getting really serious. Then on January 2nd of this year, President Trump goes public and announces strikes are imminent. And just 1 day later, January 3rd, bam, U.S. Delta Force goes in and captures President Nicolás Maduro right in Caracas. And just like that, the dictator was in U.S. custody. Now, an operation like this, it's not without a cost. 77 people were killed during the raid. That includes Cuban fighters, Venezuelan soldiers, and sadly civilians. But with Maduro captured, everyone thought the path was finally clear, right? María Corina Machado, the celebrated opposition leader, the Nobel winner, she was supposed to take power. But this is where the story gets really, really weird. This next part is just a shocking power play. The world was totally expecting a hero to take charge. But Trump, he had other plans. Okay, get this. On one hand, you have who the world expected to be put in charge. María Corina Machado, Nobel Prize winner, opposition hero, the obvious choice. But who did Trump choose? Maduro's own vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. I mean, think about that. In a move that made zero sense to anyone, he installs a member of the very government he just overthrew. The world was just completely baffled. When asked about it, President Trump said of Machado, she's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the support or the respect within the country. So, that's the official reason. But everyone was thinking the same thing. Why? Why would you do this? Why betray the very person you were supposedly there to help? Well, the real answer, it seems, has to do with ego, a little bit of jealousy, and a certain prize that turned into a curse. And that brings us to the Nobel Prize grudge. This is the stunning personal reason behind the president's entire decision. Listen to this quote from a White House source who talked to the Washington Post. They said, if she had turned it down and said, I can't accept it because it's Donald Trump's, she'd be the president of Venezuela today. Just wow. Let that sink in for a second. Her fate was sealed, not by politics, but by accepting the world's greatest honor. It literally became her biggest mistake. So here's the backstory. President Trump had been saying all through 2025 that he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. He really believed he should get it for, negotiating solutions to what he called unendable wars. So when Machado won it back in October, well, a White House source said that in Trump's eyes, her accepting it was the ultimate sin. And that explains everything, doesn't it? Giving him the medal wasn't a gift. It was a last-ditch, desperate attempt to get back in his good graces. All of this led to a very awkward question. Is the prize now just a prize in name only? Let's see how the world reacted to this completely bizarre gesture. So, can you actually just give away a Nobel Prize? Well, the Nobel Committee in Norway had a very clear answer. They said, look, a medal can change owners, but the title of a Nobel Peace Prize laureate cannot. The prize itself remains inseparably linked to the person. Basically, you can't transfer the honor. But that didn't stop President Trump from saying she presented me with her Nobel Peace Prize for the work I have done. Such a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. So you have two very, very different takes on what actually happened. And, the politicians back in Norway were not impressed, to put it mildly. Trygve Slagsvold Vedum, a Norwegian party leader, said Trump is a classic show-off who wants to adorn himself with other people's honors and work. Yeah, they were not holding back at all. It all leads to this one big question. When power, prizes, and personality all collide like this,
who really wins? I mean, think about what we've seen. A dramatic raid, a shocking political betrayal, and this personal grudge that might have just decided the fate of an entire country. It's a huge mess.
You know, it's a powerful question to think about, and it leaves the future of Venezuela in a really uncertain, difficult spot. What happens next is anybody's guess. For more explainers that really cut through the noise and tell you what's going on, make sure you follow America Current Affairs. Thanks so much for watching.